right, all right. And of course, my live's gonna be up in the corner. So I'm not gonna have full screen, y'all. But anyway, we're gonna get into this right here, right quick. And let me see who's tuning in with me as of right now. So if you are tuning in with me right now, let me know where you're tuning in from. And I am basically tuning in from the great state of Texas. I am Shakita. If you are seeing this for the very first time, this live for the very first time, I am in Texas, and I am, yeah, gonna ride with it. Come on, because she's just like really in my way. All right. So anyway, we're gonna get into this topic on this morning. Come on, I tell you what is on my screen. I don't even know what that is. Anyway, we're gonna get into this topic on this morning. The power of trusting the process, and it's interesting that that was the very exact thing that we were talking about on the call this morning. And we are coming from the book The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. So if you have that book, then you'll know where I'm coming from. But we're gonna get into it. Um, but the power of trusting the process, growth often happens quietly before it becomes visible, right? And so we live in a world that celebrates quiet results, yet the most meaningful growth usually happens long before anyone else sees it. And so today we're talking about what it looks like to trust the process, remain faithful to your small daily choices, and continue building even when evidence hasn't caught up with your efforts. So, and again, divine rising to you all this morning, quiet queens. Have you ever questioned whether all the little things you are doing are actually making a difference? Maybe you've been showing up consistently, learning, building, improving, yet it still feels like you're standing in the same place. As introvert women, we usually don't need applause to keep going, but every now and then we wonder if our quiet efforts is really leading somewhere. And so this morning, I want us to talk about trusting the process, especially during the seasons when growth is happening beneath the surface. So we're going to get into this connection here, and I wish my screen would do what it's supposed to do, but it's not. It's going to just misbehave for me. Let's see if I can force myself in the view, which, yeah, I'm gonna have to get with my people on this because this is like annoying to me. Oh, so but anyway, let's go ahead and get into this connection. So I've experienced seasons where I questioned whether I was making progress, not because I expected overnight success, but because when you're living inside the process every day, it's difficult to notice your own growth. And then one day I realized something. The process wasn't only building my business, it was building me, right? My confidence became steadier. My discernment became sharper. My conversations became more intentional. None of those things happen overnight. They happen because I kept showing up. And let me say this, even in the business side of that, you know, I mean, even as of right now, it doesn't show like, process of overwhelm of people, but yet the daily steps and the daily actions that I'm doing, I can foresee that it is growing. But you don't see it like right now. I mean, but I don't know. I'm just a person who sees things way ahead of before they actually even happen. So, I see it, right? But again, so let's go ahead and get into the core of this. I believe trusting the process becomes difficult because we naturally look for evidence. We actually look for evidence. We want proof. We want visible results. But some of the greatest transformations happen before anyone else can see them, right? And think about your own life for a moment. Has there ever been a season where you later realize you had been growing all along. Excuse me. And sometimes we confuse slow progress with no progress. Slow progress with no progress. And that's one of the things that I was able to, identify even starting at the beginning of this year because I knew again when you start to reset or readjust what you're doing to get focused, I knew that it was going to be a slow progress before it compounds over time, right? And so sometimes again, so we confuse slow progress with no progress, and they're not the same thing. Growth isn't always visible, right? Growth isn't always visible. And it reminds me again of a plant. I talked about, the plants outside. We plant a seed and we don't get a tree, you know, overnight. I mean, and so I got, some tomato plants growing. I had, some strawberry plants going. And initially with the tomato plants, they started out as a seed. Excuse me. It started out as a seed. But excuse me, I don't know what is going on here, but I didn't start seeing progress until I'm gonna say what? I mean, it started budding like maybe 5, 6 days into it, right? I started seeing something grow, but it started beneath the soil. It started within the soil. And give me just a second, y'all. Anyway, so it started with just a seed. And so now I have tomato leaves growing, a lot of them because of course I didn't know what I was doing, but I have a lot of them. I mean, even with my strawberry plant, it already had, I bought it and it already was growing. But then we repotted it. And so now I'm actually, over time, it's now starting to bloom little flowers with little strawberries inside of it. So, I'm like, really excited about that because I don't have no green thumb, um, but it's a process. I mean, it's slow, but there's progress. So again, sometimes we confuse slow progress with no progress. And they're again, like I said, they're not the same. Growth isn't always visible. Sometimes it's your mindset becomes healthier. Sometimes learning to respond differently. Sometimes it's becoming less reactive. Sometimes it's choosing peace over pressure. Those changes matter. So, what part of this resonated with you? Let me know in the comments. And so, another thing, let me see if I see anything over here. 'Cause mm, mm, I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, so and another thing I've learned is this. Sorry, guys. So, as I was saying, another thing I've learned is this: when we become obsessed with outcomes, we stop appreciating the person we're becoming. The process teaches us patience. It teaches us consistency. It teaches us resilience. Those qualities create sustainable success. Those qualities uh, again increases those qualities create sustainable success. And if you're comfortable sharing, what are or what area of your life or business are you learning to trust more? Look, and I'm learning how to trust what I'm doing right now because this is like annoying to me. I this is like I'm distracted with how this is not showing up right here. Let me see, make sure I did not. All right. All right. So in any event, so today, with all my distractions, I want to so that I want you to ask yourself one question. How have I grown in the last 6 months? That has nothing to do with numbers. Maybe you're communicating more confidently. Maybe you've been more disciplined. Maybe you've learned to protect your peace. Those are signs that the process is working. Take a few moments today and acknowledge those victories. So, in closing, because I am about to wrap this up and and move on with my day, but what if the breaking, the breakthrough you're waiting for isn't asking you to do more? What if it's asking you to trust who you're becoming, who you are becoming? And so if today's conversation spoke to you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What part of trusting the process has been the biggest lesson for you? And if you're looking for a community where quiet leadership and steady growth are valued, you're always welcome inside Quiet Queens Academy. And if you are watching this live, it is in the comments. If you'd like to get access to the community, just click the link below and click the link in the comments or well, not in the bio, but in the comments, and you can get access to the community. Um, and that will, if you want to actually take the assessment to know what type of builder profile you have, you can go to quietqueensacademy.com, and the community is quietqueensacademy.com/community. So again, I want to thank you for tuning in with me on this morning through all my challenges. And yes, I'm pointing out the fact that I am having a challenge in, but yet what we do, we're going to continue to keep moving on. And it's always saying, trust the process. Let's trust in the process, even though sometimes, there's some little hiccups, but you got to keep moving, even when you don't see the visible progress. And so I'll see you on tomorrow morning. Have a divine